Thank you. So, welcome to Unity this morning, all you out in online and here in the room. It's a beautiful sunny day, so let's all stand up and sing Claudia's wonderful song, "God is Good and All Is Well." What a wonderful morning, beyond compare. I feel God's loving presence everywhere. I am filled with joy profound in a world where many miracles abound. The garden of my soul, happy here. I know that God is good and all is well.
Good morning, Unity. Is this on? Can you hear me? Okay. Welcome to Unity of Bon Air, where we live and express unconditional love and grow together in peace and prosperity. My name is Reverend Lisa Marks, and I am a member of the board. And also, along with all the wonderful things happening here today is my birthday. I'm glad to be with you this morning, both in person and online. Whether this is your first time or your 100th time joining us, we are grateful for your presence and participation as we share this special time together. We have come together as part of love's divine purpose that calls each of us forth to celebrate the connection we all share through the holy presence within and all around us that we call God. In this spirit of community, we unfold in light and love all spiritual and religious gatherings and all people everywhere, and we begin our time together with this special message from our daily word. So today's word is freedom. Taking responsibility for my life leads me to freedom. Each life has its share of ups and downs. Like most people, I have felt blessed by my happy experiences and laid low by my more difficult ones. I have used the spiritual tools of forgiveness and gratitude to learn from and move beyond my more painful experiences. This kind of spiritual housekeeping is my key to lasting freedom. By releasing blame and regret over and over again if necessary, I am ensuring that I will not be bound by the past and limited by an outworn image of myself. Life is dynamic, and so am I. How about that? Do you feel that? Life is dynamic, and so am I. My growth is dependent upon my forward movement, and I commit to embracing the freedom that comes from leaving the past behind. With gratitude, I bless the person I was. With faith, I reach unencumbered for the person I am becoming. For you were called to freedom, brothers and sisters, Galatians 5:13. So our affirmation this morning is taking responsibility for my life leads me to freedom. Let's say that 2 more times together. Taking responsibility for my life leads me to freedom. And now, like you really know it's true. Taking responsibility for my life leads me to freedom. And I will turn it back to you all.
God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place.
My name is Reverend Cheryl Fair, and I'm pleased to be here on the platform this morning and open us with an opening prayer. So, let's all take a deep breath. Take a couple of deep breaths and settle into your seat. If you wish, allow your outer eyes to drift closed as we create sacred space here, sacred space of prayer, into which we call forth divine love and our capacity for divine love to hold and embrace all circumstances, anything going on in our lives and in the world. And we are all aware of things going on in the world, so let's just take a moment and bathe all of those circumstances in divine love. Just shower it down on all of the individuals involved and circumstances that come to mind. Just bathe it in divine love, lifting it up. And right now we can also bring into this sacred space any other prayer requests that you might be aware of, names that we are carrying on our prayer list here at Unity of Bon Air, names that may be in our prayer box here in the sanctuary. Let's just move into a moment in which you can speak into this space, any circumstances that you would like to have held in prayer. Speak it now, if you will. And as we breathe into this energy of divine love, we see each and every individual and circumstance raised up in awareness so that they can feel space around whatever their circumstance is, space that they can breathe into. We hold that for each and every one of these circumstances, and we expand this divine love energy out to embrace our entire planet, all people, all living beings on the planet, all circumstances, and the planet itself, just showering it with love. We make sure to bring into this sacred circle all the children of the world, seeing their tender hearts, holding them as they bravely move into the world. We bring into this sacred space all the leaders of the world, seeing divine wisdom and understanding stepping forth through all of their actions and words. And all of this, we have the capacity to hold within our hearts that are ever able to expand and envelop and enfold and embrace anything that comes to our attention. So as we come back to this room, to our seats, to the space that you are in, we end this prayer, as we always do in Unity, in gratitude, grateful knowing that our source is expressing in ourselves, in our thoughts, our feelings, and in every circumstance. And we are grateful for our capacity to know that, to be that. And as we allow our eyes to come back open, we seal this time of prayer with a statement of gratitude. Let's all say together 3 times, I am grateful, and do it with feeling. Ready? I am grateful, I am grateful, I am grateful. And so it is, my friends. So I'd like to take a moment right now just to welcome anyone who's here with us for the very first time. So if you're here with us for the first time in the room, would you mind just raising your hand a little bit? I won't make you dance or talk or anything. Thank you for being here. And please know that we have some welcome packets right next to the door there in that little blue box. So I encourage you to take one of those. And if you are with us for the first time online, I encourage you to visit our website at unitybonaire.org and learn all about the wonderful things we are doing here at Unity of Bonaire. So, I believe now that we have done that, we're going to have a congregational song.
All right, this one's pretty simple. We just repeat it a few times. I'm willing to know, and I'm willing to grow. I'm willing to see what I need to let go. Surrender to the Christ within. I trust and my new life begins. With gratitude, surrender to the Christ within. I trust and my new life begins. I'm willing to know, and I'm willing to grow. I'm willing to see what I need to let go. With gratitude, surrender to the Christ within. I trust and my new life begins. With gratitude, surrender to the Christ within. I trust and my new life begins. One more time. I'm willing to grow, and I'm willing to grow. I'm willing to see what I need to let go. With gratitude, surrender to the Christ within. I trust and my new life begins. With gratitude, surrender to the Christ within. I trust and my new life begins.
So let's just remain standing for a moment here as we say our statement of truth together. I wasn't fast enough, right? You were still clapping. I thought I was quick enough. All right, let's say this together. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God, the omnipotent good. And since everything we talk about at Unity is based on the teachings of Jesus, we say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Leave us not into temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. And now we'll have some music. You may be seated.
This is a song by Robert Anderson of the Devotion Duo. And it's just a lot of fun. I used to be so unhappy. Life seemed so unkind. I went to see my Maharashi. He was a janitor at the time. He said, "You're thinking like a one-celled zygote, acting like a dinosaur. You you won't find no peace of mind till you learn that life could be more. Resolve to evolve, get on the spiritual path. You can resolve to evolve, give your brain a metaphysical bath. You can resolve to evolve, leave your mental baggage behind. Might sound strange, but the world won't change till you rearrange your mind. Ego sits in the driver's seat, death grip on the wheel. It's got the pedal to the metal, does whatever it feels. Consciousness is riding shotgun, just slows his vehicle down. It's time to check, time to select in which direction you're bound. Resolve to evolve, get on the spiritual path. You can resolve to evolve, give your brain a metaphysical bath. You can resolve to evolve, leave your mental baggage behind. Might sound strange, but the world won't change till you rearrange your mind. You can't fly if your I, me, or mine keeps dragging you down. You won't grow if you just don't know why you keep spinning around and around and around. You can resolve to evolve, get on the spiritual path. You can resolve to evolve, give your brain a metaphysical bath. You can resolve to evolve, leave your mental baggage behind. Might sound strange, but the world won't change till you rearrange your mind. I said it may sound strange, but the world won't change till you rearrange your mind. Resolve to evolve, resolve to evolve. Thank you.
Yay, music team. Thank you so much, Dan and Julie. They're bringing it this morning, aren't they? They're a duo with power. So I'm on assignment today. Last week, Reverend Patty brought us part one of a series of messages based on this book called Canoeing the Mountains. And how did you say the guy's last name, the author? Bollinger? All right, so we'll say Todd Bollinger. So this is part two. So my assignment is to bring you part two of that message, and it's very much about who we are here as a community at Unity of Bon Air, and it's well-timed because today is our annual meeting. But first, let me do a quick review for those of you who weren't here last week, and also we had a technical issue on the live stream last week, so our at-home people couldn't hear. They could see, but they couldn't hear. So Canoeing the Mountains is a book that the basic metaphor of the book is based on the expedition, the Lewis and Clark expedition that was commissioned by President Thomas Jefferson. And the whole goal was to get from the East Coast, which everyone was well aware of at that point, to get all the way over to the Pacific Ocean. And they thought they knew what was going to happen. And Lewis and Clark in particular were experts at exploration via water, so boats and canoes and things like that. So they had their canoes, and what they expected was to be able to get to the Continental Divide on the western part of the country and then see the Pacific Ocean and get in their canoes and just paddle on down. That was their expectation. But they got to the top of the hill, and what they saw took their breath away, because it was miles and miles and miles of the Rocky Mountains that they didn't even know were there. Now, if they had spent more time with the native peoples, they would have found out all about it, but they had one native person with them as an interpreter. So basically, their whole premise for what they were there to do, was not going to work. It's like, okay, I have my canoe. What's that going to do for me? So the whole thrust behind this book, Canoeing the Mountains, is Todd Bollinger, the author, is a Presbyterian minister, and he wants to bring this into talking about basically the decline of the church in our modern times here in the U.S. And of course, even though unity doesn't kind of fall into that fold, we can certainly see those kinds of things have happened in recent years. Here at Unity of Bon Air, we have witnessed things that make us go, I'm a little worried. We'll see fewer people. We have seen less participation in our youth. We've seen less in the way of donations. Still expectations that we would do all the same things, but with fewer volunteers and less money and all of those kinds of things. So that's why Patty wanted to bring this forward to be something that we talk about. We talk about as a community. And one of the things that's wonderful is that in Unity, we have some spiritual principles that can help us along the way, can help us figure out how we go forward when our canoe that we've been using for, a couple of decades is not going to help us anymore. Because we're in wilderness now. We're in, what is going to work? So we have these wonderful spiritual principles. And we also know that at the heart of our community, there is a beating heart of love that is very well and thriving. It's just a matter of how to open up space around that in a way that's different. And how, figuring out how we go forward. So what I'll have for you today is kind of a lot of sort of calls to action and some homework ideas. So, if in the room, if you picked up a little bulletin, and just get yourself a pen so you can write a few things down. At home, you've got all your stuff right there. So we're going to talk about how we do this and continue to work with the materials in this book from Todd Bollinger. So one of the basic tools that we have in Unity that comes through from foundational teachings in Unity is a practice of denials and affirmations. Anybody heard of that? Been to Unity class, we've heard of denials and affirmations. I actually started a number of years ago, and a number of other Unity teachers started actually teaching this as a 3-part process. So the first part, and the first call to action for you when you're at Unity of Bon Air, when you think about how things used to be and how they are now, and things feel a little tight for you and you're not sure what, and you're worried and you want to do something, is our first step is acknowledgement. Our first step of anything in our lives, an issue coming up, is let's first be with it, with our human hearts, with our human bodies. What is this circumstance? How is it showing up? How do I feel about it? So very often, our brain wants to leap right into doing stuff, right? We're going to fix it. We're going to come up with ideas. We're going to fix it. Anybody do that? Anyone? Yes? But the only way that we can really address our fears, our thoughts of lack and limitation is first to acknowledge them. So really be with it and see what's behind it, what's coming up for you. And very often it will be fears, thoughts of lack, that we don't have enough of this, we don't have enough of that. And it's just important to acknowledge that first, because then we can work with it, but not until we acknowledge it. If we just jump right into doing stuff, number one, we're going to reference all of our old things that we've done, because that's what our brain is like. Well, we did this before, we did that before. But what the lay of the land is showing us right now is that those canoes are not going to work in the 21st century here. People aren't looking for canoes. We're looking for something else. What is it? Well, I don't know. But first, we've got to be with those feelings. So acknowledge first. So that would be the first call to action, is that anytime that you are encountering something around this community that you're like, oh, we used to have that, is just be with it. Don't launch into a phone call, an email, a plan for just be with it and see what's coming up. See what's behind it. Because very often it's a thought of lack. And then we can move into that second step. The old word for it is denials. I don't use that word when I'm teaching anymore, because anyone who studied psychology knows that, a psychological denial it's just too confusing of a word. So the phrase I use is intentional release. So we've got this thought coming forward. We don't have enough money. We don't have enough this. Now that we've taken a minute to sit with it and acknowledge, yes, I feel this way. I'm sad about this. Then we can work with that. Because what an intentional release is claiming that we're not giving any power to that belief. So our seat of power is our own consciousness, right? So there's other things in the outer world and other people and things don't have power over us. We give power by giving our energy and focus. So the more we worry about XYZ lack that we're worrying on, the more energy we give to it. So as we use an intentional release, we claim, I give no power to thoughts of lack and limitation. So in the words of Charles Fillmore, as he explained this process that he called denial, it's like clearing away the cobwebs. Or for those of you who've heard me talk about it before, I always think of it in Star Wars terms. These are not the droids you seek. So that just showed like what my generation is. It's like, so we clear it away gently, clear it away because we don't want to give it more attention. We don't want to give it more energy. We just want to clear it away. So here are a couple of, so there's that first one that I've given you, because again, this is a call to action, what you can do, what we're asking you to do. Anytime you have thoughts that come up, particularly those of you who are in lay leadership, where these concerns that you are required to take a look at, when these thoughts of lack bubble up, we don't have enough, there's not enough, not enough, not enough. Your assignment is to use a denial. I give no power to thoughts of lack or limitation. And here's another one that might work for you, particularly since we're talking about how do we find our new way forward. I release all attachments to the way it used to be. So write that down. I release all attachments to the way it used to be. Yes, we loved the way it used to be. It's not that way anymore. So what our task is to find our way forward. So my title today is Keep on Paddling with a question mark. Keep on paddling? And the answer is no. Because at the top of the mountain, looking across the Rocky Mountains, our canoe is not going to get us anywhere except just spinning around in the circle of the past. So you have two assignments now to, when you come in situations, to just be with it without moving into action or anything like that. Feel your feelings so that we can address our woundedness, address things that need to be forgiven, feel things and do the work to heal. And then, next one that I just gave you, an intentional release of any thoughts of lack. And of course, you can apply this to your personal life. Today, we're kind of talking about unity of Bon Air as a community, but you know this applies to your life, right? You got it? You're with me? All right, so then the question is, how will we find our way forward? Because it's not like this book has given me a list. Patty and I, we have a list. All right, item number 1, do this. Item number 2, no, it doesn't exist. But number 1, how we will find our way forward is as a community in collaboration. So the old way of thinking would be a single leader an inspirational leader that's going to lead us forward and everyone's going to follow. And it's been proven over and over again that's not working here in the 21st century. That's just not the way things work. So we're going to find our way forward in collaboration. And there's a wonderful example that's in this book from Todd Bollinger, because he's referring to the leadership style of the ministry of Jesus. And he's talking about this very thing. So I'll just read you a little bit. Most of us give lip service to needing colleagues and being collaborative, but when the buck stops, we really do believe that it stops at one desk only. So that's the old model of having one person in charge. Sadly, this is far removed from the New Testament witness where, short of Jesus' own work on the cross, virtually every other expression of the ministry of Spirit was revealed to the world in pairs or trios. Jesus sent out teams, my friends. He formed teams and sent them out to do the work. It was not a one-person show and like a military sort of hierarchy. So we're going to do this together, in collaboration, in community. So that leads me to another call to action. So what happens a lot with not-for-profit organizations of all sorts is that there's a very small number of people who are doing all the stuff. So what I challenge you to do, if you find this, whether you're online or in the room, if you find being here at Unity of Bon Air as something that's meaningful to you, then the challenge is, how will you contribute to that? There are lots of opportunities here. So you can go on our website and find a page under About Us that's Love and Action Teams. You can find a hard copy brochure of that same material on the bulletin board in the hallway. Look and find something you would like to participate in so that you can feed your energy into growing this community that we have. So that's the next call to action. I'm giving you lots of homework. Are you doing okay? We're doing all right? All right, so continuing to ask, how will we find our way forward? We will find our way forward with inspirational leadership. And we have that with Reverend Patty Bittner, don't we? We do. We do. And Reverend Patty is very much interested in collaborative leadership and community. And she and I collaborate every week, all the time, via text, phone call, Zoom, sitting in a coffee shop, all of those things. Now, another thing that Todd Bollinger talks about quite passionately in his book, Canoeing the Mountains, that answers this question, how do we find our way forward, is around mission. What is it that we as a community are here to do? And we have a mission, vision, core values, but it was done years ago. And we're in a totally different world now. So Reverend Patty and I, you will find, will both be calling for a new process to bring forth a new mission for this ministry. And we want this process to involve the whole community, not just a little group over here on the side. So just look for us to be asking questions and moving that forward. We don't have any specifics on how that's going to happen yet, just a dedication that both Reverend Patty and I are dedicated to drawing forth from the wisdom that is present here a new statement of what this community is and what it's meant to be in the world and our vision for how that happens. So that's another answer for how we go forward as we form that vision, and then we have something to check ourselves on all the time as we go, should we do this? It's like, let's go back to that mission. Is that in alignment with the mission? Yes? No? And that is one of the ways that we go forward. It's an ongoing process, but it's super, super important. And another reason why we're going to call for a new mission again, comes from the teachings of Jesus. What does he say about you can't put new wine in old wineskins? So we have some really great old wineskins that have served us wonderfully well, correct? And we can reflect on that and say, wasn't that wonderful? But it's not going to work for us now. So that's why we'll be calling for a new mission. So I hope that feels good to you all. Just like last week. Last week, Patty was bringing up things that's like, okay, change is coming. So my assignment today was more of that. And I have reviewed every single step of this message with Reverend Patty and made sure, do you want me to say this? Yes? Okay. Do you want me to say that? Yes? So just so you know, I'm not talking off script or anything. All right. So we talked about intentional release, and those of you who've studied any unity stuff know that I can't leave you hanging there with what they used to call denial without, like pulling the weed out of the garden without giving you an affirmation to plant in its place. So that's our next step and your next bit of homework as you address things that come up for you around this community, and you're like, I'm giving no power to these thoughts of lack. Then what can we put in its place? All right, so here's the set. I give no power to thoughts of lack or limitation. Unity of Bon Air is thriving and growing right now. Yes. All right. So write it down, my friends. This is your homework. I give no power to thoughts of lack or limitation, particularly those of you in lay leadership. Hear me. Use this denial and follow it up with unity of Bon Air is thriving and growing right now. Okay, our other intentional release that I gave you, I release all attachments to the way things have been. I am open to new ways of doing things as I step forward in faith. Let me say that again, because I know you're taking notes, right? I am open to new ways of doing things as I step forward in faith. So we don't know what those things are, but we do know that we have faith. So we can feel free to step forward because Source will provide exactly the path that we need to go. But only if we clear out the junk and affirm what is good. So in this umbrella of affirmation, I want to bring in a couple of other things too. I want to bring in affirmative relationships. So as we go through a process of change, and we have been going through change for some years now, have we not, friends? I mean, it's been so differences of opinion as to what's the best way forward will come up, right? Our assignment, again, I'm giving you homework, is that when you are in relationship with another and their opinion is different than yours, and your brain starts going, oh yeah, and I remember when they did this, that you do as we're taught here in unity and see the Christ in that person. Know that every single one of us who is here in collaboration is showing up with the very best of intentions because we all want to be a part of that growing and thriving community. It's just that they might show up in a different way. They'd be like, we need it to be purple. And you're like, no, it has to be green. That you engage in relationship with others by seeing the Christ in them. I mean, I'm sad to say that I have witnessed in recent times, numerous times, where the assumption was about the other person, the absolute worst you could come up with. And stories made about it's like, oh, well, he, she must be, It's like, this needs to stop, friends. We see the Christ in the other. Are you good? We okay? All right. So the next thing in this umbrella of affirmative, affirmation way of being will have to do with communication as well. So because we've been through, and for those of you who are here for the first time, you're like, whoa, what is all this? So so let's just do a little history real quickly. When it comes to communication, when you try to think about like, who do I talk to? What do I do? How do I take this forward? What's happened over the years is we've developed some dysfunctional patterns that we need to start working together on clearing up. So, and it goes back some history. So our wonderful, dearly departed Reverend Joyce, in the last few years of her leadership here, she kind of was not doing everything that she had been doing before. And lay leaders had to sort of rush in and keep things going. Do I have an amen from a few of those people in the room who witnessed that? So it's like, it's got to be, and then, so we were kind of going through that, okay. Then she retires, we bring in a new minister. That's a whole process of figuring out like who's doing, okay, so we still have that pattern of lay leaders kind of doing things, and then that situation doesn't work out. It's just not a great fit. And so we stay in this in-between. Then we really go into the in-between where we don't have a minister. We have named a transitional coordinator, and the instructions are, okay, everybody tell this person, anything that comes up, you tell that person, or you tell a person on the board. So we've now developed this pattern of all these little pockets of conversations. And I'll talk in an old-fashioned way right now. Thank you, sweet baby Jesus, we have a minister now. In fact, we have two. All right? So, when you have concerns that come up, when you have ideas that come up, then take them directly to Reverend Patty, not to some side pocket, the purpose of the board is actually governance. It's not getting into the middle of like, what's happened with who, blah, blah, blah. That's not their function. So we need to help get things back into balance. So when you have an idea, take it to Reverend Patty. Bring it to me. If you're in conversation in the kitchen, in the hallway, on the patio, over coffee, and people are like, I don't like it. Ask this question. And again, here's your assignment, my friends. Have you spoken with Reverend Patty about that? She'd be really happy to hear what you have to say. So that's your assignment. When you're inside conversations, don't collect all the data and say, well, I've heard at least 4 or 5 people are saying this. Say to those people, have you spoken with Reverend Patty about that? Have you spoken with Reverend Cheryl about that? She would love to hear what you have to say. And let's work on getting ourselves back into kind of a correct mode of communicating. And this also means if you have an issue with another person, that you deal with that directly with them, preferably face-to-face, not email, text, whatever. If you have an issue, you deal with it directly, not by going to a third party and playing tattletale and then expecting that third party to fix things. That's called triangulation, and it's toxic, and it's rampant. So we need to come into an affirmative way of being around our communication. Are you doing okay? All right. The next level of, do you have a question? Is that okay? Okay.
I am, in light of recent world events, I believe that Christ can be in a space and in a circumstance. I'm stress testing the notion. I want to create space for Christ to be in a circumstance and in a presence, and I try to be grounded, but in light of, for example, the shooting in Buffalo and what's happening in Ukraine, and I try to pray for Christ and peace in that space.
Yeah. I think so.
I don't.
And I will need to recap because we have an online audience that can't hear you. But it sounds to me as if the concern is around how the energy of the Christ consciousness is showing up in how we see it, how we affirm it in challenging situations. Yeah, and that's why the opening prayer was very much about let's shower those things in love. And this talk in particular is about our community here at Unity of Bon Air, but my next point actually goes to this a bit, so thank you. So you've given me a nice segue. So we're under this umbrella of our affirmative way of being. One of the things that this author talks a lot about, now he comes from a traditional Christian background, and as many of us will know, having been exposed to that, there is a value that's placed on evangelism, right? On getting the word out. Now, that's not something that has happened a lot in Unity, because in Unity, we're not into dogma and we're not into telling other people how to be with their consciousness, right? So that gives us a little bit of a weakness in going out in the world. But I would like to suggest that, again, a little piece of homework for you, that as you are out in the world with your family, your coworkers, your neighbors, and you hear concerns and complaints and things like that, I want to give you something to say. Like, you know what has helped me with that? Unity teachings. And just leave it there. Just leave it there. Don't get it. You don't have to you don't have to do my job or Patty's job. You don't have to speak the truth or anything. Just say, you know what has really helped me with that? You know what has really helped me cope with that? Cope with my worries about the economy, my concerns about the world. You know what has really helped me with that? Is being at Unity of Bon Air or Unity teachings, and just leave it there. So that this affirmative way of being also moves, because the thing is, with all of these changing circumstances in the world, and again, this book that we're talking about is talking about the decline of the church. Unity really is the answer. Because the kind of things that people are looking for these days are provided already by Unity. So let's all be a part of spreading the word. And again, I'm not asking you to give a speech. I'm not asking you to invite you to hey, you want to come to a thing, just say, this has really helped me in my life, and just leave it there. If that plants the seed of curiosity and they come back and ask you, then hey, well, we have booklets over there, we've got a bookstore, we've got a class, we've got a social event, then but just drop it there as a way of being in this affirmative way of being that we're talking about. All right, so let's review, okay? Let's just review. So when stuff comes up for you around what's going on at Unity of Bon Air, first just be with it, friends. Feel your feelings. Feel your feelings. If there's forgiveness work to do, let's do it. Then identify what those thoughts are that are behind that. Likely they're thoughts of fear, they're thoughts of lack, and let's do an intentional release and clear them out. Intentionally clear them out. Follow them up with an affirmation, an affirmative way of being with each other, speaking with each other, being in the world. All right? So this is all about navigating change. And in general, we don't like change. Our brains really like our comfort zone. So it's uncomfortable. But just like Lewis and Clark standing on top of that mountain going, I'm going to use my canoe. Oh, I didn't say a dirty word, but I wanted to. Oh my, how do we go forward? But how I want to end is I do want to end by listing out some things that won't change. Things that we know are true. And of course, all the aspects of that which we call God or Spirit or the universe, those things won't change. They'll just manifest in different ways. And in this community, our love for each other won't be changing. Our love for this community will not be changing. It'll grow. It'll keep growing because we know our hearts have this endless capacity to grow and grow into new situations. Our enthusiasm and joy, which are a part of this ministry, is not going to change. That's not going to change. Our compassion and encouragement for each other is not going to change. And our desire to be a welcoming, inclusive, and a safe space for people is not going to change. So, I'd like to finish off with a statement that you all can repeat after me. I can hardly wait to see what wonderful good will come of this. Say it with me. I can hardly wait to see what wonderful good will come of this. Thank you, my friends. Thank you. Thank you so much. And here I was thinking that they'd be like, oh, she gave us so much homework. I don't want to do it. Thank you, thank you. We're going to move into a time of meditation right now. So we're going to take that energy and just start off by taking a few deep breaths. And just relax into your chair, set aside anything you have in your hand. If you like, allow your outer eyes to drift closed. And as we prepare our consciousness for a few moments in the stillness, just listen to these statements. May I feel happy. May I feel safe. May I feel free of suffering. May I live my life with ease. Bring another to your mind that you would like to hold in loving kindness, someone that you care for. And hold these phrases. May you feel happy. May you feel safe. May you feel free from suffering. May you live your life with ease. And now bring to your mind someone who is a challenge for you. And perhaps it's someone that is a part of some of these world circumstances that have come to our attention. And hold for them. Hold that Christ consciousness in them and say, may you feel happy. May you feel safe. May you feel free of suffering. May you live your life with ease. And now we will take this energy of loving kindness into the stillness for a short while together. We feel our bodies, our souls, our spirits vibrating with this energy of may I feel happy. May I feel safe, because as I feel safe, then I don't have any need to act out in the world in any sort of protective sort of way. May I feel free from suffering, because when I do feel suffering, my human nature might act out in different ways. I forgive myself and others for actions in the world that are based on not feeling safe or feeling a sense of suffering. I hold for each and every sentient being a life of ease, a consciousness filled with peace and love. And as we complete our time in the stillness, I offer you an affirmation that we can say together. So as you come back into the room, you can allow your outer eyes to come open. Let me say this affirmation for you, and then we can say it together a couple of times. I joyfully step forward in faith, and I am grateful. Say it with me. I joyfully step forward in faith, and I am grateful. All right, give it some more energy. I joyfully step forward in faith, and I am grateful. One more time to the rooftops, my friend. I joyfully step forward in faith, and I am grateful. So it is, my friends. For the wonderful underscoring. All right, so now is the time for us to prepare our tithes and love offerings, knowing that as we circulate our positive intentions in the form of giving, we are creating the community and the world that we want to see. We have a statement to say together, and I believe it's on the screen for you all. Let's say it together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, for the joy of giving and receiving. And now we're going to have some music.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. You can sing along if you like. Imagine all the people living for today.
Yeah.
Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion too. Imagine all the people
All right, so they're on the offertory song.
living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions, but I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger, a brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. All right, let's all take our positive, affirmative, loving energy and pour it right into all of these gifts. Seeing these gifts moving out into our lives, into this community, into the unity movement beyond, and blessing it all with our gratitude. So let's say together 3 times, I am grateful. Ready? I am grateful, I am grateful, I am grateful. Yay. Thank you, folks. All right, I believe it's time for the minister to come up on stage unexpectedly.
I usually, hello? Is this on? No. Hello?
Yes, you're on.
Okay. So I usually sit down and behave when this is Cheryl Sunday, but I'm just almost moved to tears. This material in this book, when I said to Cheryl, we're doing Canoeing the Mountains, she didn't say, oh, hell no, we're not doing that book. This is the work a temporary minister does. That you take this stuff and you look at it and you say, what are we doing that really serves us? What are we doing that's getting in the way of us being our best selves? So when we started talking about this, Cheryl's going, okay, I'm going to check out what I'm saying with you. And what she said today is challenging material. This book is challenging material. What we're facing is challenging stuff. And I just want to acknowledge that she had the courage to get up here and say these challenging things and invite all of us to become the best we can be. So thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you, Patty. All right, Lisa, it's your turn.
It's my turn.
Yeah.
Okay. So, transformational opportunities. First of all, Unity of Bonaire's annual business meeting takes place today at 1 p.m. in person and on Zoom. Join us for information and updates. All are welcome to attend. Members, vote for the board elections must be submitted before the meeting begins at 1. Unity seniors are taking a field trip to Old Town Fredericksburg this coming Thursday, the 19th. Please RSVP by contacting Mark Fortney, who's right over there, or calling the Unity office by 2 p.m. on Tuesday if you plan to attend. And Reverend Sherry has got something that she would like to share.
Thank you, Lisa. You are welcome. Hello, Unity. Hello. Okay, so I'm here to remind you to sign up for the Truth and Experience Spirit groups. They start next Sunday. So there are sign-up sheets in the hall, and it's only 4 weeks for our spring session. And you will have inspirational speakers, new thought ministers. You'll have so much that is going to just ignite you to be the very best that you can be. And so we have 5 different groups, 5 different facilitators, 5 different times. So you have one that starts next Sunday right after the service, and it'll be for 4 weeks for Sunday. So you're already here, you can jump onto that. And then you'll see on the sign-up sheets there's several others in Zoom and in person. So I'm just going to invite you to just jump in with both feet and learn how to stay aligned in that Christ spirit that you are. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Let's see, where we got to. All right, Sunday, May 22nd, will also feature an in-person workshop at 12:45 with Reverend Patty called the 5 Wishes Workshop. The 5 Wishes material makes end-of-life planning and documentation easily and accessible. All are welcome to attend, so tell your friends. Today, we would like to take a moment to recognize and thank all the volunteers who serve on the fellowship coffee team. The next time you partake of some refreshments after the service, be sure to thank those who volunteer, providing fellowship coffee for us to enjoy. And if you'd like to join the team, please call the office to volunteer. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge our chaplains, of which I am one. So they are here to pray with you if you have a prayer need after the service, and we appreciate them very much. Okay. The book, more copies of the book for Sunday morning class are in stock in the bookstore. All right. And to keep up with all these transformational opportunities and many more here at Unity of Bon Air, be sure to visit our website, subscribe to our weekly e-news, and follow us on Facebook or Instagram. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Lisa. All right, I believe that the Youth and Family Ministry is going to come and see us now. Go ahead.
We are walking as the light, as the light, as the light. We are walking as the light of God. As the light, 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 as the light of God.
Look at all these beautiful faces up here. So first, I want to say thank you so very much to Becky, Bernadette, and Gretchen for helping me today. And because of that, we were able to split our toddlers off from our older kids, which makes a big difference. Next, we want to be able to split our 5th graders off from the rest of the group because they're a little more mature and they're ready for a little bit more of a different, oh, no. A different type of curriculum. So we're working to move toward that practice next. So today with our older kids, we did talk today about how we share our treasures, such as smiling, donating, charitable things, those kind of things, to the world and making the world a brighter place. And then Gretchen took them out to the garden, and as you can see, they picked vegetables out of the vegetable garden that they helped plant. So we were glad to do that too. So a couple of announcements, and I know we're running a little late, so I'll try to make it quick. There are sign-up sheets out on the table for anyone who wants to volunteer just to help us on Sundays to kind of corral the kids as we need to. Also, there's a sign-up sheet for people who would like to, thank you, Cheryl. There's also a sign-up sheet out there for anyone who wants to do a Sunday over the summer where they do a special project with the kids. Things we've done in the past. We do have Jonathan Austin coming to do a magician and juggling program with the kids one Sunday. But, cooking, birdhouse building, any of that kind of stuff, we would love to share. And Artie, Okay. So those are some sign-up sheets we have. We also have the pricing and the information about our summer camp, which is called Adventure Camp this year, a Seafarers Adventure Camp. All that information should be out this week as well. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful week.
All right, let's bless our children and all the volunteers in the YFM and Melody. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We behold the Christ you are, and we see you doing amazing things. All right, I do want to acknowledge all the volunteers that have, and the staff and contractors that have brought this experience to you all today from the front door all the way into this room. So just send them all some love and say thank you when you see them. And I believe I will declare this service has now ended, and our ministry of love continues. So let's all stand and we will sing the peace song and say the prayer for protection first. All right, prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on